Hello and welcome to Note to File, a clinical research podcast.
A collection of interviews, candid commentary, and general nonsense for the clinical research community.
Check us out at notetofilepodcast.com.
And now, without further ado, on to the show.
Hey guys, welcome to another Note to File. Sticky notes. I feel like we haven't interviewed somebody in like a long time.
I mean, I feel like with the holidays, it's trickier schedule-wise. Just like people are off, people are, I don't know, with the Thanksgiving, and then
Nobody wants to talk to us.
well, it could be that. I'm gonna blame it on the holidays. It's the holidays. It's the new year. We're gonna come in hot in January, though.
Yeah, exactly. For sure, that's going to happen. Today is December 18th, and it's a lot of weird national days.
Oh man.
It is apparently Answer the Telephone Like Buddy the Elf Day.
That's a reach.
I mean, it's on a website, so it must be true.
Denali Rose, what's your favorite color?
Exactly. Seems oddly specific, but you know.
Also,
okay.
like, I mean, that movie came out, what, like 2005? Yeah, it's not like a...
I don't know. Good question. I'm too lazy to look it up.
All I'm saying, it's not like a, clearly not like a historic holiday or national day.
3, by the way. Okay. I did look it up. I lied.
Okay.
No, well, I mean, there's no like true, today's not any true holidays. One of the days is Wear a Plunger on Your Head Day for some reason.
Who the fuck came up with that?
I don't know who's making these up. Let's see, though, what else there's. Okay, National Regifting Day. That seems relevant, right?
I feel like that would be like December 27th or something.
Maybe. There's a lot of like holiday parties and, you know, work events maybe. So maybe that makes perfect sense for regifting.
Like a white elephant, Secret Santa. I'm actually using a work present right now.
There you go.
We did a office mugging. This is mine.
You got mugged.
I did.
Well, very good. I assume you're not going to regift it, so.
No, because it's a really fucking cool mug. But yeah, I mean, I feel like, although I feel like, I don't know if I want to share this. I feel like when I was like younger, I used to have like a box of things that I'd get, and I'd be like, great, this is going to go in the gift box. And that would be my like box of gifts that I would give people.
I was going to ask, what's the worst gift you've ever gotten?
Like, I assume this is not like a white elephant.
Sure.
Situation, but like an actual, like someone gave you a gift and we're like, you'll really like this.
Just whatever. Give me anything. Who cares?
I don't know. That's a hard one. What about you? Let me think about it. Do you have any answer? Because I need to think about it.
I mean, I feel like I got a like, what are those, like fruit log cake things?
Fruit cake.
I guess it was a fruit cake, but it was like in a shape. It was like a log of fruit cake, and it was terrible. It was terrible.
I feel like those are ones you just like toss.
Yeah, I think I tried to eat it just for the novelty sake of it, but I remember being like, "Who is it? Why? Why is this a thing? This shouldn't be."
I mean, there's like all the traditional like fruitcake concepts, and candied fruit was a really rare thing, and they would like bait my grandfather did this, and then my parents, I don't know if they did this year, but they've done it before, where they make like, you make fruitcake and you cook it, but then you like basically like drop alcohol into the fruitcake and you like let it soak in, so it becomes like this rum soaked fruitcake, but it's like this dense candied fruit.
That's just an excuse.
Soaked up with alcohol.
It's just an excuse to drink alcohol. That's actually called alcoholism, nothing to do with fruitcakes.
That's called Christmas, my friend.
Fair.
I don't know. Worst gift. I don't know. I feel like the worst gifts I've gotten are like gifts that aren't for me, that like I'm given, and it's like, here, you'll love this. Cook me something, and you're like, oh, okay, good. It's like that type of gift where it's like, this was never for me. Like, I'm gonna gift you something that ultimately is for me. Like those, like otherwise, like, okay, you thought about it, you tried it. There's like the generic like socks and
yeah. But even socks now, like I'd be happy with socks, you know.
I have an answer that triggered something. So back in the day when I was a mental health counselor, I had like, you don't accept gifts from clients, but I would clients who try to give me presents. And one of them found out that I was coming. I, at the time, lived in Florida. I was coming to Wisconsin for the holidays. And they brought me a garbage bag full of like winter clothes. But it was like dirty, used, not my size, not my gender, like just clothes. And I was like,
an assortment of
and it was, I mean, like, again, very thoughtful, like the thought process, like it made a lot of sense, but it was one of those that was an interesting one for sure.
Today's also National Crime Junkie Day, which I actually am a big fan of.
Writing them.
I mean, I grew up really being into like forensic files was like my jam. So
I feel like that's on whenever I go to a hotel room. There's always a channel.
Basically was a middle-aged housewife from like 12 years old on. I just loved all the true crime stuff. Like, but now it's like a whole big genre of, podcasts and all kinds of nonsense, but I like that stuff.
I was like a 68-year-old man from the age of 12 on.
Fair. I mean, there are worse things to be.
I mean, you gotta lean in. Okay, we glossed over the plunger on the head one too quickly. I'm bewildered that this is a national day. That someone would do it, that someone has the thought process of it, and then they're like, enough people are like, let's make this a national day.
I was trying to read a little bit about why. Apparently, it started out as just some dude and his pet Komodo dragon.
And can you keep those as pets?
Caught on. I
feel like that's a zoo creature.
Well, maybe. You know what? We'll get into this, and we'll dedicate an whole episode into investigating the origins of Wear a Plunger on Your Head Day.
So we can take your obsession with true crime investigation and my newfound confusion about this national day and go from there.
There you go. Beautiful. I guess we should talk about like clinical research or something. So let's do that.
What do we got today?
I don't know. Hold on a second. I can't use this computer properly.
I feel like that excuse is gonna get old pretty fast.
I'm gonna keep using it. I mean, it's gonna be like 20 episodes from now, and I'm still gonna be like, oh, I'm still learning how to do computers. So I think you sent me a copy of this. Mm-hmm. I didn't even know it had dropped. I haven't seen a lot of fanfare on LinkedIn. I guess seen a couple of posts. People really like to post guidance to like prove why their solution is like the thing that obviously the government is like, proving why my solution is perfect.
Yeah, and that's honestly where I saw this. It was like enhancing participation in clinical trials, eligibility criteria, enrollment practices, and trial design, like guidance for industry. So, where I've kind of seen this pop up is folks who are looking at what it looks like to increase participation in clinical trials and organizations that do that, which ultimately, fundamentally, like, yeah, all in on that makes total sense.
Yeah. And there, I don't know how like deep you went. I mean, there's some things in here that I think are great, and I like that they
like what
drill down on them. Let's see here. Put me on the spot, huh? I mean, really, it does go into the idea of we should be testing on the people who are going to be taking the drug, which I feel like somebody on the site level who sees, patients in a clinic that are your standard patient for a particular disease, and none of them can meet the criteria for clinical trial, seems real bad. So, they give some guidance or recommendations, telling that they need to work to ensure the eligibility criteria serve the goal of having a representative sample of the population for whom the drug has been developed, and examine each exclusion to determine if it's needed to help assure safety of trial participants or to achieve study objectives. If it's not needed, consider eliminating or modifying the criterion to expand the study population.
Like, why the fuck do we need guidance to tell us this?
I don't know, but I guess I'm glad they're doing it, because it seems,
because we're not doing it.
It seems like we don't. It goes on, and somewhere in here, it talks about the issue that a lot of trials have just taken the same template, like criteria, over and over again, and maybe don't do that.
We know this has gotten approved before, so we'll just copy paste, update it, only where needed. Otherwise, we think it's going to be easier to get it approved. Well, and like, I mean, I also assume, I mean, again, it's this constant like push-pull between like you want to have it as like sterile and wrapped down as possible for like the data and scientific like validity of it, but then ultimately you're testing a scientific question that's not relevant to the real the real like use case of it. Which, I mean, that's sort of the fundamentally like, because yeah, you need to have it pretty cleaned up at the start. You know, you imagine like earlier on in clinical trials and earlier phases, but to your point, once you get to like you're doing phase 3 trials, I presume that you have trouble finding participants in the disease population. And as soon as that goes to market, you know who's going to be getting it? All of those people.
Everybody.
Right. And so it's like we never actually tested it not only in, and that's just even just like I&E criteria and exclusions of like other pieces, let alone diversity in populations and makeups, right? I mean, like, have we tested it on women because our metabolisms are different? Have we tested it on people of different race and ethnicities because there's different presentations in those too, right? Like, let alone comorbidities and, you know, other pieces that we're excluding as well.
Yep. No, I don't disagree.
So good that we have these guidance. I mean,
no one will follow it, but it's there.
So that's what I was going to ask you about, and just sort of like more philosophical in general. I've really struggled with just FDA guidance, period, because it's great that we're putting it out there. We're saying like, this is what you should be doing, but there's no teeth behind any of this.
It even says as much like in the guidance, like, hey, this is not a mandate. This is not.
So anything. What's the point of these guides? Not what's the point? I know the point, but like, what's the impact of this? Because I see these guidances drop. We say, hey, this is coming up. This is how you should run DCT. This is how you should recruit participants. But like, it's not mandated. You don't have to do it. It's like, yeah, we think this is good.
Yeah, and I don't know enough like from the sponsor side. I mean, look, there's still sponsors don't want to take risks of any kind, but hey, definitely smack your mug into your
You know what? Thanks for pointing that out. I have a straw for stirring, and it got caught, and I was like, oh, that's not the distance I was expecting.
Shut up. Drinking is hard. Anyways, so I don't know. I would think though that like, you know, a sponsor who's a little bit maybe riskier would use these things to their advantages. But I'm surprised we haven't seen more of that, or maybe we have. Again, I don't know. I don't know what's actually happening on that side of things. You know, all I sort of see is what the end result is. Maybe what I'm seeing is the better version of of what was before. You know, which is frightening. But I mean, I could very well be the case. Maybe it was even worse before some of this stuff.
Well, and this gets into another thing that I fundamentally have issues with, where like there is
a lot of issues.
There are concerns. There are concerns to be had.
Sounds better.
But like it's the concept of just that, where it's like these protocols and you're just getting them in final state. But like you're the one who has to run and execute them. Why are we not involving sites in the process of designing protocols, period?
Yeah, we've heard a lot more about that, I think, over the last couple of years. I mean, I haven't seen it, but I'm also like a small just site, so I may not. Even maybe they are including some of the bigger site networks or people smarter than me when it comes to like the actual, you know, development of these protocols, but it doesn't seem like it. But it's being people are talking about it.
I mean, it's the same way that people are like including patients in the design of protocols. Like they have one patient advocate who they contracted with to do like 5 consulting hours, and it's like, yeah, we talked to patients. It's like, okay, well, yeah, you technically checked the box, but like, I mean, it's more than you did, but like that's one. It's so minuscule in the grand scheme of things. So like even like I would say at scale, which is what I would argue is needed. And again, you can't design a protocol based on what a site says, because sites vary so significantly in how they operate.
For sure.
But like it's all data points that should inform what you're doing.
Yeah. I don't disagree.
We'll make some guidance about it and it won't do a damn thing.
Good idea. I did like this too. They talk about, you know, recruitment challenges and you know, things like, you know, consider using mobile medical professionals, nurses and phlebotomists to visit participants at their locations instead of requiring participants to visit distant clinical trial sites. I don't have an issue with that. Smart. What I did think was cool was actually being like, hey, during recruitment, offer and make participants aware of financial reimbursement. Which, again, I think people still try to act like, oh, don't mention that there's, money. FDA does not consider reimbursement for reasonable travel expenses to and from clinical trial site and associated costs, such as airfare, parking, and lodging, to raise issues regarding undue influence. Similarly, consideration may be given to paying participants in exchange for their participation in research. I mean, I think that's great.
I mean, it makes 1000% sense. I have a job and I get paid for it and I'm doing the job well and I'm not being like, it's not coercive or undue influence because I'm getting paid for my time. Like, that's a principle of our entire society. So if someone's volunteering their time, if it's not volunteer, then you pay them for it, and that's pretty standard.
Yeah. Again, I think it's kind of interesting to see them be like, because you've got a lot of it still remains a very like conservative field in terms of, I guess, not rightfully so in terms of some of these sort of ethical questions. But I mean, I've never seen a study that was just, no one's getting rich off of being in a clinical trial that I've seen.
I don't know. I've gotten several very, very generous offers for participation in clinical trials via text.
That's a good point, actually.
Thousands of dollars.
Maybe I'm wrong.
$2,000-$3,000 of dollars to participate. Click this link now.
There's some other cool stuff in here. Explore agreements to facilitate the exchange of medical records between clinical trial sites in order to promote participant retention. Things about offering resources, using online and social media recruitment, which I still don't think is really being done particularly well.
Yeah.
It's cool. There's some stuff in here about expanded access. I would definitely check it out. I think there's, some useful stuff in here. I mean, like everything else, I guess, not particularly convinced that this is the thing that's going to be, oh, great. Now we can make trials so much easier and more accessible. It's gonna change things.
Would love to talk to someone at the sponsor level who's like the consumer of these, or like the audience for this, as far as like, not like who's taking it and then actioning it. So like, we're all looking at it, we're like, yeah, that makes sense. Oh, I like that. That's good. I could see how that works. But like, ultimately this falls to whomever is incorporating these into their actual processes. And a lot of this is on the sponsor level. I'd love to get a sense of like how people at that level are using this and other guidance in general. I think that's be fascinating.
Yeah, I don't know who pays attention to these.
Yeah, like, what actually. People pay attention to them, but then who the fuck does anything with it?
Yeah, it's a good question. Okay, so let's
what else we got? Back.
Really, it's the only other thing I got today. Our good pal Dan Shell, sup Chip.
Always good content.
Part 2 of the clinical leader article. Doing predictions. I'm always so like a jerk about predictions because I don't know. I know it's hard to do, but I also know people are just interested to know what other people's thoughts are and the way things are going. So kind of fun to cover. And it's just way easier to talk about someone else's content than come up with my own ideas for myself. So thank you, Dan. Hats off. So let's see who we got in this batch here. Carrie Lewis, Executive Director, Clinical Program Optimization, Keenova Therapeutics. Not familiar with them, but let's see. 2026, the importance of strong partnerships between sponsors and sites will only grow. I hope so. Sponsors need to collaborate with sites to be efficient. Our sites are facing persistent challenges. We sure are. Let's see. Sponsors must be open-minded and work to make changes that make life easier for sites. Mostly this is stuff about the sponsor site relationship. Step 1, pay on time. That's I'll definitely echo that. I feel like that's maybe getting slightly better on the whole, but
yeah. I mean, my question here is like, yes, these are all problems that need to be solved. Is that what I'm struggling here is what's the prediction for 26 in this? Like, is this going to happen, or should we just focus on it?
I don't know. Just we need a good open communication and clear expectations. I mean, like these are all great things, and hopefully, I mean, the implications that these things are going to be addressed and be better. We'll do better, Adam. Again,
hopefully.
Not so sure that's the case, but we hope. We all hope. Let's see here. Oh, hey, Dan. Kinova used to be endo. Oh, okay. Well, cool. Yeah, okay. That's great. We're doing some endo trials. I feel like I should know that. Sorry, Kinova/endo. Very good. Next up, we got a piece here from Craig Lipset, DTRA. Clinical research enters 2026 is stable but stuck. Hiring won't bounce back until regulation, reimbursement, and AI uncertainty are clear. Global expansion will stay conflicted as lack of support for U.S. research centers drives sponsors abroad, while political pressure for domestic investment pulls home. Digital innovation grows only with companies making meaningful commitments. The rest will simply experiment with AI. Industry can't be both site and patient-centric forever. Sites are demanding more attention with more volume, which may leave attention on the needs of the study participant lacking. I mean, I don't know. I think that all kind of tracks. Certainly maybe a more bearish outlook than what I would expect.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, I agree with the AI and the regulatory landscape right now, or political landscape in the U.S. Is, I would say that that tracks for the next year for sure.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I'm curious, and this is something I've seen brought up before. I mean, there's a lot to unpack in the last sentence. It's sort of, is there a inherent conflict between site and patient centricity? And I've seen people write about this a little bit. I'm not so sure that they're, at odds with one another. I mean,
my gut response would be that they are not. So, and I admittedly have not done and looked into that at all.
Sure.
But my inherent gut response, well, that doesn't seem right.
We'll see. I mean, yeah, there's a lot to potentially unpack in that sentence, I think, but we'll leave it. Again, I think those two things can be, I guess, sort of easily reconciled, possibly. Maybe not easily, but more easily reconciled than what that implies. But so be it. Our good pal Laura Hilty. What's up, Laura? At HealthX. Which I believe hers is a lot. Hers is like the opposite. It's much more positive. With a more favorable investment climate, expect continued consolidation on both technology and site network sides, which I can agree with that. I think there probably will be more.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but
yeah, I don't know that I love it, but it's, it is what it is. Site networks will become increasingly central to sponsors who will rely on them for a broader range of studies and therapeutic areas, particularly those who are predictable, high quality, and efficient at scale, which, again, don't disagree with the sentiment. Curious to see how many site networks become predictable at scale.
I think that's the desire if we're looking at from a funding landscape, right? Like you want predictable investment. I don't know if site networks function.
We've talked about it a little bit, and I don't know that they tick that box. But anyways, we'll see. Maybe I could be wrong. Sponsors are becoming more aware of the tech burden they've put on sites, prompting a shift towards site centricity. This will bring genuinely helpful solutions, but also more noise, which I think we have seen. DEI investment will see a healthy resurgence. I think that's a very hopeful sentiment. I hope that's the case, but
I mean, it aligns with the first piece we chatted about with like coming out with, increasing participation in research. There was some semblance of, diverse representation in that. Like
that's true. I wonder though if here, I just want to go back and see if the word diverse or diversity is mentioned. Absolutely not. Which seems odd. Although they do kind of
it does not seem
they kind of dance around it with like mentioning demographic like specifically, but not.
I mean, even if you talk about companies that were historically like very outspokenly DE&I, they've changed their rhetoric because you come out with a list and say none of these can get funding if you have these words in it, like woman or diversity.
Yeah, I know.
So people change their shit, but you're
just
saying the same
rolls over and does whatever.
Yep. But I mean, like this is also coming from the federal government, so that would track why they would not include that. But I mean, I don't know. We'll see. I hope she's right there.
Yeah, of course. I mean, of course, I hope so. Sponsors keep experimenting with building AI capabilities internally, especially where they have unique data sets or workflow needs, but will increasingly rely on established external partners for areas requiring deeper expertise. That makes sense.
Yep.
Digital twins and synthetic data, with promise of reducing enrollment numbers required, will get more press. This will likely make progress, but remain in early innings. So expect pilots and press releases, but not yet use at scale. That's something I don't know enough about, but I'm curious to see, like why you can't have more, synthetic control arms, maybe, or I don't know enough about the science behind some of that stuff, but I find it intriguing.
I think it's a risk tolerance thing, less of like a functional.
Yeah, I mean, that may well be. And again, I don't know enough to know how real that is versus perceived, I guess. And the regulatory landscape will continue to keep everyone on their toes. So good. I like that. Sean Cunningham from Takeda. I think we interviewed him at Viva Summit.
Yeah, we did.
I'm not going to go crazy word by word, but I do think the major takeaway of his is, I'm trying to find the sentence here, but it's essentially that, human interaction human connection will be the ultimate innovation. Face-to-face collaboration, the kind where ideas spark across the table, where trust is built in real time. That will be the new shiny object. And it won't just feel good, it'll drive results. And
it's like we've come full circle, right? Like
yeah, and I don't know. I mean, I honestly like this. I think this is like, I know it's like kind of simple, but it's maybe like my favorite prediction, because I think we've seen it like too, and what's come out of like a lot of these face-to-face, and he mentions like conferences booming and people are, getting together and connecting and like talking things through. I mean, I think that's true. People want to actually connect and talk to each other,
And I like it because, like, obviously I think the pandemic had a big piece of this, right? But like people sort of pulled back and we weren't doing this for a while, and we were like, oh, we can do all these innovative things with technology and remotely and with different models and what have you, and like we don't necessarily need the same person to person. But I think it's interesting because now people are going back to saying like, hey, this is really valuable. You get something different from being in person, which I think is inarguable. Like that is obvious, but it's less of like we have to do this, like you have to do these things, you have to do it in person. There are people who are doing it who don't really care to do it, don't want to do it, just doing it because that's how you do it. And now it's folks who are interested in doing it, they're doing it because they care and they want it. So it's almost like weeding. It's going to change what that even looks like, because people who are doing it are people who want to do it, which I'm all for.
Cool. So I like that one. And then last but not least, we have Rob. I'm definitely going to say your last name wrong. DeCicco? Sorry, Rob. VP of Portfolio Management at Transillerate. In 2026, real-world data won't just inform regulatory decisions, it will shape the future of clinical care. Global regulatory landscape's evolving. Companies that harness data intelligently will stay ahead of both compliance and patient needs. Okay. Seems reasonable. AI's role in clinical development is expanding beyond automating routine tasks and generating documents. It's about faster timelines, higher quality outputs, but the opportunity lies ahead. If your virtual controls, digital twins, model-informed study design, and fully modernized end-to-end trials. By 2026, AI will be central to how trials are planned, executed, and analyzed. You think so? You think that's true?
I mean, would probably kind of...
I'm gonna clip this and play it in a year. So
think really hard. I would argue that AI is probably at some level already fairly central to how we operate on a day-to-day basis. And I don't think clinical trials is unique per se. I think we're going to lean into it and make it more purposeful and more industry specific. But I would argue that we already use AI pretty inherently and fundamentally in what we're doing.
Fair. Yeah, I have no idea. I mean, again, at site level, it's a little different than whatever's going on.
I think you are too, though. I mean, like, I don't know, without even knowing about it, right? Like, I don't
know. Maybe. I don't know. I don't think it's as, and I mean, this is a topic that we'll cover at Save Our Sites. Let me put a plug out there right now, about AI being utilized at the site level. I'm actually not even here right now. This is all AI.
It's an AI video prompt to put in. I'm gonna sing a song now.
Right. Lastly, the adoption of ICH E6 Revision 3 and E19 guidelines will make 2026 the year patients truly shape clinical research. Decentralized and pragmatic trial elements will scale, enabling patient-focused studies that are faster, more inclusive, and ultimately more impactful. Let's hope so, buddy.
So, I mean, themes across this one and the first one, right, are like site centricity and AI.
Yeah. I guess I don't know. It does seem like sites are being brought up a lot, which is nice. Again, still, that's how patients are enrolled across most clinical trials, or at a research site. So it's nice to see. AI, I still don't know where to land on AI. Hey, Dan, if you pay my fee, I will gladly read all of your articles out loud. Okay.
It's a budding audio article.
Get paid by the word. So make sure you get a lot in there. Yeah. Anyways, no, I mean, I think and there seems to be a lot of positivity, which I guess is good. I still remain skeptical that we'll see a lot of changes.
So I'm going to go ahead and be negative about this, but like this is a result of our industry's approach as a whole, right? Like we know we have a lot of problems, and all we do is talk about like what's going to be good.
Sure.
Like we address problems. We say this is a thing, but you know what? It's going to be good. Or like, look, there's great things we're doing. Yet the fundamental problems exist. That's like the tone of our industry.
Yeah, it's true. But I mean, what do? We keep talking about it till we figure out how to actually fix it.
Yeah.
Until somebody does something different.
Like guidelines.
Yeah. There's some guidelines right there. So I'd be curious to see,
Start publishing our own note to file guidance.
I mean, we can comment on all the FDA documents, That's true. It's probably an important, public service that we should do. So we'll look into that.
Start televising our commentary process.
I'm sure they would love that. We're going to get disappeared. All right. Well, very good. Do we have anything booked for next week?
I mean, we could try to. I mean, that's going to be Tuesday, right? Tuesday.
Yeah,
the 23rd. So Christmas Eve for those who celebrate.
Don't call it that. Nobody celebrates that. That's the most insane thing I've ever heard.
I don't know. Maybe, I guess. See if we do sticky notes. Otherwise, probably puts us in 2026.
Maybe we should do like another free-for-all episode because people will be off work and.
Okay, let's do it. I'll bring my kids. It'll be great. I'll have some
perfect.
8 and 4-year-old commentary on clinical trials.
I mean, they'll sound just as smart as me when it comes to it. So sounds good.
We elevate the caliber of our show.
Exactly. Cool. All right. Anything else?
No, I'm good. What about you? You good?
Nah. So if you're hearing this and you want to come on Tuesday, then hit one of us up and we'll get you a link.
Good deal.
That's it.
Catch you next week.
Thanks for listening to Note to File. We're committed to continuing to bring you independent and unfiltered coverage of the clinical trial industry.
We want to talk about what you want to hear. So if you have something on your mind, hit us up at notetofilepodcast.com.